If you have been waking up with a deep aching pain in your lower back, a pain that wraps around your side and gets worse when you bend or twist, a pain that no amount of stretching, no amount of heating pads, no amount of pain pills seems to touch, I need you to keep watching. Because what you are feeling is not a back problem. It is not arthritis. It is not a pulled muscle. And despite what every doctor has told 70% of patients over 50, it is not something you have to live with. It is your kidneys quietly clogged with years of buildup, sending pain signals through your back because they have no other way to tell you they are struggling. Our grandmothers in the islands knew this. They had no kidney specialist, but they knew that when a woman in the village started walking a little slower, leaning to one side when she got up from her chair, pressing her hand into her lower back when she thought no one was looking, the kidneys were calling. And they knew exactly what to give her to flush them clean. A drink so simple it lives in your kitchen right now. 3 things, mixed and sipped every morning for 3 mornings, that pulls years of buildup out of the filters and lets the back ease back into its proper shape. Our grandmothers never had to ask why their remedies worked. They worked because they treated the body, not a label on a bottle. But somewhere along the way, the Western pharma forgot that healing was the goal. They started selling muscle relaxers for a pain that has nothing to do with muscle. They started selling back braces for a problem no brace could ever reach. They sell you what manages the symptom for a month because a month later you have to come back and buy more. A cure would empty their shelves. Today, I am going to show you exactly what is happening inside your kidneys right now, why your back is the messenger and not the problem, and the 3-ingredient morning drink, sipped once a day for 3 days, that flushes the buildup, eases the pain, and gets you walking the way you used to walk. You know, the small adjustments you have started making, you did not decide to make them. Your body decided for you. There is a side of the bed you have stopped sleeping on. Months ago, maybe years ago, you noticed that lying on that side made the dull ache come alive into something sharper. So you stopped. You sleep on the other side now, or on your back, careful, calculated, the way you never used to have to sleep. There is a way you get out of a chair. You plant your feet, you put both hands on the armrest, you push up slowly, and you pause for a second at the top, waiting for the pain to settle before you take your first step. You did not do this 5 years ago. You do it now without even noticing. There are things you have stopped doing. Stopped bending down to pick up what falls on the floor because the twisting motion sets the pain off for the rest of the day. Stopped sitting on the floor with the grandchildren. Stopped getting in and out of the bathtub. Stopped reaching for the top shelf of the cabinet. Each one a small surrender. Each one another piece of the life you used to have quietly handed back. When you mentioned all this to your doctor, what happened? You got told to take ibuprofen. You got referred to a physical therapist. You got an x-ray of your spine that came back showing some mild arthritis, which the doctor pointed to like he had found the answer. You got handed a prescription for muscle relaxers that made you drowsy. You got told to lose weight, to stretch more, to be careful with how you lift things. And for some people, those things help a little. For most people over 50, they do almost nothing because the pain was never coming from your back muscles or your spine in the first place. It was coming from 2 filters sitting just above your waistline, quietly calling for help. Let me show you what is really going on. Before we go any further, tell me your age in the comments and tell me 1 sentence about the moment you first realized you were walking differently than you used to. I read every single comment on this channel. Now let me show you what is actually happening inside those 2 filters. Let me tell you about a woman I will call Beatrice, 67 years old, from Brooklyn, New York, a retired hospital cafeteria worker who still keeps the little plastic name tag she wore for 22 years in the drawer next to her bed. She had not been to her own church in almost 2 years when she came to me. The reason she had stopped going was the wooden pew. The pew at her church was hard, and sitting on it for the hour-long service had become impossible. She would shift from one side to the other, press her fist into her lower back, lean forward to relieve the pressure, and finally give up halfway through the sermon and quietly walk out. After the 3rd Sunday in a row of walking out, she stopped going altogether. Her pastor came to check on her. She told him she was fine. She was not fine. She was ashamed. She had tried 4 different things. The expensive memory foam seat cushion her daughter ordered online for $65. a prescription muscle relaxer that made her sleep through her morning prayers, two different chiropractors, one of whom told her she needed adjustments 3 times a week for the rest of her life. She had spent close to $400 on a back brace that her doctor recommended that she could not even fasten by herself. The pain was worse, not better. What was overlooked was something her doctor never asked about. When I sat with Beatrice and walked through her day, I noticed she drank 1 cup of coffee in the morning, no water until lunch, a soda with lunch, more coffee in the afternoon, and 1 glass of water with dinner. Her kidneys had been operating on almost no clean water for years. They were thick, clogged, struggling to filter. The pain in her back was the only way they had left to tell her. Within 3 mornings of starting the drink I am about to show you, the sharp side of the pain was gone. Within a week, she sat through a full church service for the first time in 2 years. So how is it possible that something this simple worked when $400 of cushions, braces, and adjustments had failed her? The answer is in what your kidneys actually do and what happens to them after 50 that no doctor ever bothered to explain. What Beatrice's doctor never checked for was the same thing they never check in anyone over 50. It is something simple, and once you understand it, you will see why nothing else has worked for you either. Place your hands on your lower back, just above your hip bones on either side of your spine. Right there, beneath your hands, sit 2 small organs about the size of your fist. Your kidneys. They are not muscles. They are not bones. They are filters. The 2 most important filters in your body. Every drop of blood in your body passes through them roughly 40 times a day. Their job is to pull out the waste, the excess minerals, the toxins, the broken down protein, and send all of it out through your urine. Our grandmothers in the islands had a saying. They said the kidneys are the river of the body. As long as the river runs clean, the body runs clean. The moment the river slows, the moment debris starts to settle at the bottom, the whole body begins to suffer downstream. But after about age 50, 3 things change at once that turn the river into a slow stream. The kidneys themselves shrink slightly with age, and the filtering surface inside them reduces. The blood flow to the kidneys decreases as the arteries supplying them stiffen. And most importantly, the rate at which we drink clean water drops dramatically after 50, partly because the thirst signal weakens with age, and partly because coffee, soda, and tea have quietly replaced water in the daily routine. Imagine a coffee filter that has been used to brew pot after pot of coffee without ever being cleaned. The first few pots come through clean. By the 10th pot, the filter is brown and saturated. By the 20th, the water is coming through slow and gray, picking up the residue of everything that came before. That is what is happening inside your kidneys right now. Decades of mineral deposits, broken down medications, processed food residue, and protein waste have been settling into the tissue of the filter. The filter is still working, but it is working through years of sludge. When the kidneys are clogged like this, the surrounding tissue becomes inflamed and slightly swollen. And here is the part no one explains. The nerves that supply your kidneys share the same pathways as the nerves in your lower back. When the kidneys are inflamed, those shared nerve pathways carry the signal of distress into your back muscles, into the area just above your hip bones, into the side of your waist. That is the pain you feel. The pain is real. The pain is just being misread. Your back is fine. Your kidneys are screaming. This is why your pain pills never worked. The pills numb the nerve signal at the muscle level, but the source of the signal is still firing from the kidneys. This is why your back brace never worked. The brace squeezes muscles, not filters. The doctor was treating the destination of the pain, not the origin. But this still does not explain why your kidneys got clogged faster than other people's. What is causing your body to keep depositing more buildup year after year, no matter how much water you drink? That answer is in a different place entirely. The answer is in your gut. And before you scroll away thinking your gut has nothing to do with your kidneys, I want you to understand something. The kidneys do not work alone. They work in partnership with the gut. Everything that your gut absorbs eventually has to be filtered by the kidneys. And everything the kidneys filter is fed by what the gut sends them. Our grandmothers understood this without ever using the word microbiome. They knew that a woman with a sluggish belly always had trouble with her water. They knew the two were one system. Modern science has finally caught up. By the age of 60, the average gut has lost roughly half of the beneficial bacteria it had at 30. The bacteria that used to break down protein cleanly, neutralize toxins, and keep the inner ecosystem in balance are gone, replaced by less helpful species that thrive on processed food, antibiotics, and stress. When the gut bacteria shift, three things happen that show up as back pain within months. The first is that protein breakdown becomes incomplete. The leftover fragments, what science calls uremic toxins, are dumped into the bloodstream and sent to the kidneys for filtering. The kidneys, already aging, now have to filter twice as much waste as they were designed to handle. The buildup accelerates. The second is that the imbalanced gut produces inflammation that travels through the bloodstream and reaches the kidneys themselves. Inflamed kidneys filter slower. Slow filtering means more deposits settle into the tissue. More deposits mean more inflammation. The cycle tightens every year. The third is the most important. Your gut needs three things to stay healthy, and almost no one over 50 has all three. The good bacteria themselves, what people call probiotics, the fiber those bacteria feed on, what we call prebiotics, and the healing compounds the bacteria produce when they eat, what science now calls postbiotics. Think of it as the seed, the soil, and the rain. You can have one without the others, but nothing grows. You need all three. When the good bacteria are missing, or the fiber that feeds them is missing, or the compounds they produce are missing, the gut keeps sending dirty work to the kidneys keep getting more clogged, and the back keeps carrying the pain. As long as the gut keeps producing the toxins that flood the filters, the back pain keeps regenerating no matter what you take for it. So how do we fix both layers at once? How do we flush the kidneys clean this week and quiet what is dirtying them from below? That is what I'm about to show you. Now let me show you the three things that fix both layers at once starting tomorrow morning. 3 ingredients. 1 small glass, sipped slowly. Once a day, first thing in the morning for 3 mornings. All of them already in your kitchen or 2 minutes away at the corner store. The first thing is coconut water. 1 cup, 8 ounces. The real kind, the kind sold in the carton in the refrigerator section, not the flavored sugar drinks made to taste like coconut. Plain, pure coconut water. Our grandmothers cracked it straight from the green coconut. You can buy it ready in any grocery store today. Coconut water does something almost nothing else does. It is naturally rich in potassium and magnesium, the 2 minerals your kidneys need most to soften and flush the deposits that have settled in their tissue. When you drink it on an empty stomach in the morning, the potassium pulls excess sodium out of the kidneys, which is one of the main minerals that hardens into deposits over time. The magnesium relaxes the muscle and tissue around the kidneys, which is part of why the back pain begins to ease within the first day. You might be wondering whether coconut water is just expensive sugar water. The answer is no, but you have to read the label. Pure coconut water has no added sugar, no flavorings, and the only ingredient on the back should be coconut water. If you see coconut juice or cane sugar or anything else added, put it back on the shelf. The cheaper plain version in the carton is the one you want. The second thing is 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, stirred into the coconut water. Yes, you read that right. Oil and water. They will not blend perfectly, and that is fine. You stir, you sip, and your body uses what is in the cup. Extra virgin olive oil does something most people do not know about. It is the only oil in the world that has been proven in traditional medicine and in modern research to gently coat the inside of the urinary tract and to help dissolve the smallest crystalline deposits that form when minerals begin to settle in the kidneys. It softens the deposits enough that the body can flush them out through normal urination instead of letting them sit and grow. In the islands, our grandmothers used olive oil for everything that needed lubrication. They knew it without knowing the science. The first time you drink this mix, you may notice your urine output increases noticeably within the first hour or 2. That is normal. That is the kidneys beginning to release water and waste they had been holding for months. Stay near a bathroom that first morning. Welcome it. Do not be alarmed. Let me tell you about another patient, a man I will call Vincent. 74 years old, from Hartford, Connecticut, a retired bus driver who still keeps his old paper transit map of the city folded inside his wallet, even though the routes have changed twice since he stopped driving. Vincent came to me because his back pain had reached the point where he could not stand long enough to cook for his wife. She was the one who had always done the cooking until her stroke 2 years earlier. Now he was supposed to be the one cooking for her, and his back would not let him stand at the stove for more than 5 minutes at a time. He had been feeding both of them frozen meals for over a year. He felt like he was failing her. He had been to an orthopedic specialist, a chiropractor, and his primary doctor. He had been told he had degenerative disc disease. He had been told it was sciatica. He had been given 3 different prescriptions, one of which gave him stomach bleeding and a trip to the emergency room. He had spent $600 on a standing mat for the kitchen floor that did nothing. What was overlooked was that he had been on a blood pressure medication for 15 years that was quietly dehydrating his kidneys, and his diet of frozen meals was loading them with sodium every single day. Within 3 mornings of starting the drink, he stood at the stove and made his wife a full Sunday dinner. He cried while he was cooking it. He had not stood for that long in 3 years. The third thing is the juice of half a fresh lime. Squeezed directly into the same cup, fresh, not the bottled kind. The bottled lime juice has been pasteurized and stripped of the active compounds that make it work. Half a lime squeezed in by hand takes 10 seconds. Lime juice does 2 things at once. The citric acid binds to the calcium-based deposits in the kidneys, which are the most common type of buildup in people over 50. Once bound, the citric acid pulls those deposits into a form the body can actually pass through the urinary tract. Lime juice also gently raises the pH of your urine over time, which makes it harder for new deposits to form in the first place. You are not just flushing what is already there. You are making it harder for new buildup to start. By the way, you should know one thing that almost no one mentions. The first time you drink this combination, you may notice your urine looking slightly cloudy by the afternoon. That cloudiness is the deposits beginning to leave your kidneys. It is the proof that the drink is doing what it is meant to do. It is not blood. It is not infection. It is sediment, the same sediment that has been quietly causing your back pain for years, finally being washed out. By the 3rd morning, the cloudiness clears because most of the loose buildup has already left. Now the exact sequence. First thing in the morning, before coffee, before food, before anything else, pour 8 ounces of plain coconut water into a clean glass. Add 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil. Squeeze in the juice of half a fresh lime. Stir the mix together with a spoon. Sit at your kitchen table. Sip the drink slowly over 5 to 10 minutes. Do not gulp it. The slow sipping gives the kidneys time to register the incoming minerals and respond to each small wave. After you finish, wait 30 minutes before you eat or drink anything else. That 30-minute window is when the drink does its deepest work. Do this once a day for 3 mornings in a row. Not 4, not 7, 3. The protocol is designed to be a gentle flush, not an aggressive cleanse. 3 mornings gives your kidneys time to release what is loose without overwhelming them. On the first morning, you will notice you urinate more often than usual through the rest of the day. By the second morning, the back pain that wraps around your side will feel quieter, less sharp, easier to ignore. By the third morning, you will sit down in a chair, get back up, and notice that you did not pause at the top. By the end of that 3rd day, the sleep position you had abandoned will become available to you again. This protocol flushes what is already in the filters. Within 3 days, you will feel the difference. But the buildup will start returning if your gut keeps sending the same dirty work to your kidneys every day. The kitchen handles what is already there. The inside is a different question. So how do you fix the gut? In the way I tend my own gut every single day, the way my grandmother in the islands tended hers is with kombucha. Your gut needs 3 things to come back into balance. The good bacteria, the fiber those bacteria feed on, and the healing compounds the bacteria produce when they eat. Most things give you one of those 3. Yogurt gives you bacteria, but no fiber. A fiber supplement feeds bacteria you may not even have. Kombucha is one of the few things in the world that gives you all 3 at once. The live cultures, the prebiotic acids, and the postbiotic compounds the bacteria produce as they ferment. When those 3 things arrive together in the gut, the protein breaks down cleanly, the toxins stop being dumped into the bloodstream, and the kidneys finally get a break from filtering twice as much as they were built for. The buildup stops returning because the conditions that created it are no longer there. I make my own kombucha at home because I have the time and the knowledge. But for everyone watching online who can't brew their own, I give BoochBod Kombucha Gummies. The link is in the description, or you can search BoochBod Kombucha Gummies on Amazon. Now let me tell you the part of the morning drink almost every person gets wrong. The mistake is the order. Almost every person who tries this protocol makes the drink correctly, sips it slowly, and then immediately reaches for their morning coffee. They figure they have done the kidney drink, so now they can get on with their normal routine. They are wiping out 2/3 of the benefit before it has a chance to work. I know what you are thinking. Your whole life you have had coffee first thing in the morning. That is your ritual. That is how you wake up. I am not asking you to give up coffee. I am asking you to delay it just for these 3 mornings for one very specific reason. Coffee is a powerful diuretic. It pulls water out of your kidneys at a rate 2 to 3 times faster than normal. When you drink coffee 15 minutes after the kidney drink, you are pulling all the minerals and healing compounds from the coconut water, the olive oil, and the lime juice straight out of your body before they have had time to bind to the deposits and flush the buildup. You have essentially poured medicine into a leaking bucket. I see this in person after person. A woman tells me she did the protocol for 3 mornings and felt nothing. I ask her one question. How long after the drink did you have your coffee? She tells me 10 minutes, sometimes 5. And there is the problem. The drink never had a chance to work. The correction is simple. After you finish sipping the kidney drink, you wait 30 full minutes before you drink anything else. No coffee, no tea, no juice, not even more water. You can do whatever you would normally do in those 30 minutes. Get dressed, make your bed, read the news, sit on the porch, but nothing goes in your mouth for 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes are up, drink your coffee, eat your breakfast, do whatever you normally do. The kidneys have had their window. The drink has done its work. The other version of this mistake is the food timing. People do the drink and then immediately eat a heavy breakfast. Eggs, bacon, toast, the works. Heavy protein early in the morning forces the kidneys back into filtering mode before they have finished flushing what the drink loosened. The drink should be the first thing in your stomach and the only thing in your stomach for the first 30 minutes of your day. After that, eat what you would normally eat. The last version of this mistake is stopping too soon. People do the drink for 1 morning, feel a little better, and decide they do not need to do it for the full 3. The first morning loosens the deposits. The second morning flushes the deepest layer. The third morning rinses the filters clean and resets them. If you skip the second or third morning, you leave loose sediment sitting halfway out of the kidneys, which can actually cause a slight return of the back pain within a few days because the body has to either finish flushing it on its own or reabsorb it. 3 mornings, not 2. The protocol works because it is complete. Do the drink correctly, wait the 30 minutes, finish the full 3 mornings, and within 3 days, the back pain that has shaped your life will start letting go. What you are really protecting is the next time you stand at the stove long enough to cook a real meal for someone you love. The next time you sit through a full church service without shifting in your seat. The next time you sleep on the side of the bed you had given up on. Beatrice is back at her church. Vincent cooked his wife a Sunday dinner. It is never too late. The body at 70 and 75 and 80 still knows how to flush its own filters and quiet the pain, no matter how many years you have been adjusting your life around it. If this video has helped you, subscribe to the channel so the next one finds you. I make these videos for the people who have been forgotten by the clinics, and the only way more of them find me is when good souls like you bring them along. Share this with the friend, the spouse, the parent who has stopped bending down to pick things up off the floor, who pauses at the top of the chair before they take their first step. Tell me in the comments which of the 3 ingredients you didn't expect, and tell me whether you have ever been told your back pain was something the doctor could not really explain. I read every single comment on this channel. The BoochBod Kombucha Gummies I mentioned earlier are linked in the description, or you can search them on Amazon whenever you are ready. Until next time.